This is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Keraba Avenue, and I am Asma Uba. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. President Adama Barrow on Monday launched the SOS Children's Youth Can project, which aims to develop and provide employment opportunities for vulnerable young people. In commemoration of World Lung Day, the Clinical TB Unit at the Medical Research Council, the Gambia, held a day-long sensitization and testing for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease on Monday. 1,650 participants are to receive Gold Award after completing Gold level at the President's International Award Scheme in Bakau. In business news, 250 women and men have commenced training in basic business and entrepreneurship skills organized by Njai Charawal Market. In international news, French President Emmanuel Macron announced on Sunday that France will end its military presence in Niger and pull its ambassador out of the country. In sports news, the Gambia women's national football team have been knocked out of the women's AFCON qualifiers after losing to Namibia twice over 2 legs played in Morocco. Now, those and other stories coming up. Do stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. Now, President Adama Barrow launched the SOS Children's Youth Can project on Monday, which aims to develop and provide employment opportunities for vulnerable young people who have lost or at the risk of losing parental care. The event also saw the launching of SOS Gambia's strategic plan for the next 5 years. Mumdulamin Choi has the latest.
President Adama Barrow is launching a life-changing project for vulnerable young people in the Gambia. Youth unemployment is a global challenge affecting many countries, including the Gambia, and the SOS Children's Villages, together with its partners, is seeking to tackle the problem. Through its global initiative, SOS Children's Villages' particular targets are vulnerable young people via a project called Youth Can. Through a project like this one, SOS Children's Villages aims to increase its impact on the lives of children under their care, contribute towards the Sustainable Development Goals, and reduce youth unemployment. Globally, 1 in 10 children and young people are separated from their families, abandoned and neglected. President Adama Barrow gives a reassurance government's approval of and support for the Youth Can project and calls on the private sector to contribute to its successful implementation.
This project will strengthen their employability skills and thereby increase their self-employment chances and sustainability. It is targeted that the Youth Can project will support more than 500 young persons with relevant employability skills in the next 5 years across the country.
Supporting vulnerable children, especially those who are separated from their families or have lost parental care, can be an impactful experience for child beneficiaries. Omar Sohna is a unique example. He was part of the first batch of children who were admitted to SOS Children's Villages in 1982 and resettled in 2001. It is like a dream come true for me today. I have 5 children and I am adopting 5 more. Today, I own a workshop where I trained 20 young people. I have changed the lives of people, some of whom are now abroad in countries such as the US, the UK, and Germany. They are benefiting me today. I do all of this because I have seen what SOS did for me, and that is why I take it upon myself to give back to society. At this event, President Barrow also launched SOS Children's Villages' ambitious 5-year strategic plan. Jean-Pierre Kouamin is the country director of SOS Children's Villages, the Gambia.
So Youth Can support young people without adequate parental care to become self-reliant with stable income, employment, and support networks. The project will always start with needs assessment to really understand what the needs of young people are in specific countries, in specific contexts within the country. Because the kind of challenge young people are facing in Banjul is not necessarily the same in Basse.
SOS Children's Villages has been operating in the Gambia for at least 40 years and has provided childcare support, including shelter, education, and health services for many vulnerable or abandoned children in the Gambia. Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
In commemoration of World Lung Day, the Clinical TB Unit at the Medical Research Council Unit at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine held a day-long sensitization and testing for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease on Monday at the Serekunda Police Station. Antoine Sonyasi reports.
World Lung Day is an annual crusade observed on September 25th to raise awareness about lung health and promote better lung care around the world. Commemorated under the theme, Access to Prevention and Treatment for All, Leave No One Behind, a call to action which emphasizes the significance of an equal access ensuring the treatment and prevention of lung diseases. Bearing in mind the need to raise more awareness about what experts described as a major health concern, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, the Clinical TB Unit at the Medical Research Council Unit at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine organized this event to commemorate the day and to encourage people to get tested as well as seek medical attention. Dr. Olumuyiwa Owolabi, Clinical Coordinator, Clinical TB Unit at the Medical Research Council Unit at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, speaks about the importance of raising public awareness about lung health and encourages people to get tested.
As we have done here, we have different sections. We have what we call the wellness section. The wellness section is to pick those who may be having hypertension and they don't know before now. People that may be having diabetes and they don't know before now. And people that may have this particular disease we are talking about, they don't know. And that we can do through the test. We test their blood sugar, check their blood pressure, check their weight and height, and calculate their body mass index to know those who are obese and counsel them and encourage them on weight reduction strategy.
Speaking to journalists, Dembo Sane, Assistant Commissioner of Police for Kanifing West, Garanke Jallo, a resident of Kersering, and Yumandur of Old Yundum, all expressed gratitude to MRC Gambia for giving them free testing and clinic services. They also encourage the public to visit health facilities for regular checkups.
This initiative is very, very important to us here, especially and the general public. Definitely, it is very, very important to us because today we know what causes this disease and that the preventive measures we should take in order to avoid it. So that makes it very, very important to us here.
This is a good initiative. I want to thank MRC for organizing this free event. I learned a lot about my health today, especially about my lungs and how to stay healthy. I wish to encourage everyone to regularly visit the hospital for their lung checkups. This is important because health, like they say, is wealth.
This is really important, and to think that it is free makes it even more worthwhile. They saved me time and money because if I were to go to the hospital, I would need to pay fares or hire a taxi and then pay for the medical services I would receive at the hospital. So this is a great initiative, and I'm grateful to the organizers.
Along with testing for lung diseases, volunteers also receive general health checkups. Many of the volunteers at this event are police and immigration officers, as well as Serekunda market vendors. The celebration of Global Lung Day aims to focus the public's attention on the pulmonary system and illnesses of the lungs and urge everyone to contribute to a better and healthier environment. Antoine Sonyasi for KTV News.
Now, 1,650 participants are to receive Gold Award after completing Gold level at the President's International Award Scheme in Bakau. At a press conference on Friday, organizers announced the ceremony on Tuesday would be graced by President Adama Barrow. Lolem Kamara tells us more.
The maiden event is scheduled for the 26th of September 2023 at the Never Again Arch in Banjul. The President's International Award Scheme is a self-development program designed for all young people to equip them with positive life skills for employability and self-employment. Pam Alex Sise, the Executive Director of the President's Award Scheme, PIA, says the participants to be awarded have completed the 4 mandatory sections of the Gold level.
The Gold level is a 80-kilometer foot journey. 80-kilometer foot journey, meaning any participant at Gold level must walk for 80 kilometers. You walk for 40 kilometers going, and when you come in, you also walk another 40 kilometers. You cannot get this certificate or this medal if you don't do community service. You must do a community service in an area that you are not part of. A service that is required by that community, either we call them mosque, we clean in the mosque, or the churches, or the graveyard, or any other community place that the community want the award participant to help and participate in there.
Famara Dabo, the board chairperson of PIA, reveals that a lot of efforts have been made for the day to celebrate the young people of this country.
We in PIA here create enabling environment for young people to acquire different skills that will help them. And that's what the 3 categories of the award is offering our young people. And when they successfully complete these programs, we found it very important for us to facilitate the delivery of the awards.
Fatoumata Singate, the national organizing chairperson of the award committee, while recounting the number of awardees in each region, thanked those that have supported them in this cause.
The expectation is to award 1,650 participants. And then on this, we have on Region 1, we have a total of about 643 participants across 3 schools. And of course, in the KM region, we have a total of about 340 participants that we expected to award. And on Region 2, West Coast, on West Coast region, we have about 200 participants that are expected to be awarded. And of course, the Lower River region, the 19 that received their silver, are still receiving their gold. That is the 19 participants. On North Bank region, we're expecting about 118 participants. And the URR, we're expecting about 48 participants. So all in all, we have 1,650 participants that are expected to receive their award.
According to officials, this International Gold Award recognizes the invaluable work of participants and creates an opportunity for them to develop and contribute meaningfully to national development. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
We will now go for our commercial break, but when we return, we have more business, international and sports news stories for you. Do stay tuned.
The Central Bank of the Gambia, having been requested by the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, will establish and nurture the Security Exchange Commission, Central Security Depository, and the Gambia Stock Exchange. His Excellency, President Adama Barrow, will officially launch the first capital market of the Gambia on Friday, 29 September 2023 at the Sadauda Kairaba Jawara International Conference Center. Please join us to celebrate this significant milestone in the financial market landscape of our dear country, the Gambia.
Waalaikum salam. Xanaa ma dem. Waaw baax na. Na ngeen def. Xadi li nga jëlee si Argentine moom macha Allah. Yow man de ma Argentine laay dundee suma kër. Gis bi dafa ceeñ. Ceeñ. Masuta ceeñ.
waaw du gis ngeen daw si ba mu amee sikki sàkkane Argentine mii dañoo wecci ay cafkaam ba ñu ko ubbilee siwo bi ba xet gi dugg ko cam billahi la mu yëg bari na Argentine ñaar fukki at ak nangam ba mu ne cëpp ci réew mi ba tey mësula wecci doxalin mësula wecci cafka bu leen ci am benn ñaari xel man mii di jaay lépp luy produit gi Argentine rek am naa ko am na 500 millilitres 1000 millilitres ak 5 kilos ba noppi nag am 750 ml bi nga xam ne mi ngi toj réew mi gis nga Argentine Eva Protect Milk bi mooy mos dolli te Argentine spaghetti bii ngay gis moo dàq ci spaghetti yi gis nga Argentine bottom margarine bi noonu la gënee ci yow mi nga xamante ne yaa ngi jaay tàngana ci Johnson bi comme bi fi Argentine la dugal sa waa ñoddi sa kombe bi gis ngeen lii sardañ la da nga gis góobi jën bi dafa neex gis nga meew ko ndig mil bi Argentine ko fi indi moom mi dafa sakkan xoolal xale bi nu muy naanee banana milk bi gis ngeen flamingo oil bi dem leen ci bépp boutique bépp supermarket ci bépp marché Argentine ki prodogam kenn mënu koo ceeñ
Argentine boppam ndax moo di good quality food.
Welcome back from that commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News with me, Asma Uba. Now let's take a look at business news. 250 women and men have commenced training in basic business and entrepreneurship skills organized by Njai Chara Hall Market. Julde Njai attended one of the sessions for the second cohort at the Serokunda Lower Basic School, and she now reports.
Fatuba is from the first cohort of trainees and one of the first students to benefit from the 3 months intensive training. She says her dream has been fulfilled. My wish is to have my own compound. That was the main reason I decided to join the training. With the help of God, I was enrolled here, and after the graduation, my dream of securing my own house became a reality, thanks to Njai Chara. I would like to thank Njai Chara for the support he is giving to women. May Allah fulfill his heart's desires. Like I always say, if you empower a woman, you empower the whole nation. Motsad, the Chief Executive Officer of Njai Chara Hall Market, says they exceeded their expectation of 150 trainees per cohort. He therefore thanked QTV for their contributions in creating awareness.
Second batch bi nak ñew na ba ci 260 waye dañ bay 10 bi ñu jël 250.
We have seen that the second batch rose to 260, but we had to drop 10 applicants and proceeded with 250 people. As you can see, we have 2 classes, so it has not been easy for us, but that's part of the work. No matter how difficult it is, we will cope because this is the path we took to help women. My intention had been to train 600 women per year, but we will exceed that because with only 2 batches, we have been able to register 400. We are only left with 200 to train to reach that original target.
Mr. Sar also appealed to the government to support them by providing them with land for Njai Chara Hall Market to build a school for these mainly women aspiring entrepreneurs. Yamari Bojang and Jayending Jai, both business trainees of the second cohort, told us their stories.
Juko jayanto waye da nga gis ne dam de lebale par week ma dem pour collecter xaliss bi waye da nga gis ne suma démé pour collecter xaliss bi duma de muna jot xaliss.
I was selling perfume and I used to give it on credit to people and collect the money weekly, but I faced challenges whenever I asked my debtors for my money. Eventually, my business collapsed and I did not have money to revive it. Luckily, one of my friends introduced me to Njai Chara. For a start, I deposited $2,500. Since then, I have seen a huge improvement and I am now saving and taking care of my other needs.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Man buma ñëwé ci mom explainal ko né man suma situation nu mel bëgga na jigen la dama bëgga daan suma doole.
I thank God because since I met the owner of Njai Chara and told him that I want to work and not depend on anyone, he has been very helpful. I did not know him personally. I only used to go to his shop and buy goods. Daindong and Aminyang, students of the first cohort, advised the women of this second cohort to be determined and hardworking in order to be successful. These women who started this session last week were able to deposit over $24,000. For QTV News, I am Julde Njai.
From Business News by Julde Njai, let's now take a look at international news. French President Emmanuel Macron announced on Sunday that France will end its military presence in Niger and pull its ambassador out of the country after Niger's elected President Ali Bongo was deposed in a coup. Jenna Basonko has more.
A statement posted to Niger state television reads, "We celebrate another step towards Niger's sovereignty as French troops and the French ambassador will be leaving Niger by the end of the year." The statement said, "Imperialist and neo-colonist forces are no longer welcome on our national territory. Another person, institution or structure whose presence threatens the interests and outlook of our country will have to leave the land of our ancestors, whether they like it or not," it added. "Our resistance will be unwavering and will deal with any institution or structure attempting to challenge the higher interests of our nation." Mr. Macron said 1,500 troops would withdraw by the end of the year and that France, the former colonial power, refused to be held hostage by the putschists. France's exit comes after weeks of pressure from the junta and popular demonstrations. Despite not recognizing the junta as legitimate, Macron said he will coordinate with them to withdraw officials and troops, France television stations. French forces have been kicked out of neighboring Mali and Burkina Faso since coups in these countries, reducing its role in the region where deadly Islamist insurgencies is rife. Niger had remained a key security partner of France and the United States, which have used it as a base to fight an Islamist insurgency in West and Central Africa. Earlier this month, 2 U.S. officials also said the United Nations could begin withdrawing troops from Niger in the coming weeks. CNN has previously reported as many as half of the roughly 1,100 U.S. troops stationed in Niger could be pulled from the country, 2 officials said. In New York on Friday, the military government that seized power in Niger accused UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres of obstructing the West African nation's full participation at the UN annual meeting of world leaders in order to appraise France and its allies. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Basonko.
That story by Jenna Basonko takes us to sports news in a moment. Now, the Gambia women's national football team have been knocked out of the women's AFCON qualifiers after losing to Namibia twice over 2 legs played in Morocco. Our sports reporter Mamadou Gajaga was watching and he now reports.
The Gambia was eliminated from the Africa Women's Cup of Nations qualifiers after Namibia defeated them 5-2 on aggregate. They were defeated 3-2 in the first match and 2-0 in the second leg, both of which were played in Morocco. In the second leg, a flicker of optimism from the narrow defeat in the first leg turned into agony. In that first match, the Gambian team fell behind 2-0 in the first half of the opening leg. The team rallied late in the game to level the scores at 2-2. Despite making a comeback, the Gambia's defense was caught sleeping again, and they lost 3-2. Namibia demonstrated their class once again in the second match, scoring twice. Namibia appeared more tactically sound and deservedly won to advance to the next round. This is the third time in a row that the Gambia women's team has failed to qualify for the women's AFCON. Nigeria and Cameroon eliminated them in the second round of the last 2 qualifiers. GFF selected Yaya Mane as coach of the women's squad in an attempt to give the team a new boost. However, things have not gone as planned. Mane believes it is time to increase support for the women's squad.
It has been defeated like this, so we have to accept it and move on as a nation. With the female football team, I think we need some improvement on some of the aspects there, which I think if we do as a nation, it doesn't have to be only some people, but again, it has to be holistic. Like the whole nation have to give a support to the female team, and I think we can make a massive difference. So looking at us, technically, we far better than the biggest players on the pitch. Our technical ability is second to none. Again, that's not the only aspect in football. You have other components also, the physical, the psychological, and the social aspect of it, which need to firmly improve. So those 3 corners also, I think we need to move on with that. But to be honest, the opponent team, the Namibian, absolutely deserve the victory.
Women's football in the Gambia lags far behind most countries. With a poor quality national league in both the first and second divisions, the lack of suitable football pitches also has an impact on the development of the game. Until there is a drastic and sustainable change, qualifying for the women's AFCON will remain a distant dream for the Gambia. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
Well, that's it for the news, but before we go, a recap of main news headlines. President Adama Barrow on Monday launched the SOS Children's Youth Can project, which aims to develop and provide employment opportunities for vulnerable young people. In commemoration of World Lung Day, the Clinical TB Unit at the Medical Research Council, the Gambia, held a day-long sensitization and testing for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease on Monday. 1,650 participants are to receive Gold Award after completing Gold level at the President's International Award Scheme in Bakau. In business news, 250 women and men have commenced training in basic business and entrepreneurship skills organized by Jai Charahwal Market. In international news, French President Emmanuel Macron announced on Sunday that France will end its military presence in Niger and pull its ambassador out of the country. In sports news, the Gambia women's national football team have been knocked out of the women's AFCON qualifiers after losing to Namibia twice over 2 legs played in Morocco. Well, that's all we have for you on this news bulletin. Join us again at 10 p.m. for more news. Thanks for watching.